Barton Crockett, Rosenblatt Security Senior Analyst, Managing Director, joins us now, has a buy rating on Apple and a target of 262. Barton, good to see you. What a day. Thanks for the time.
Sure.
Is the tone of conference calls this week just changed entirely?
I think it has. I mean, we had a Friday where Mark Zuckerberg was talking about Meta spending over $60 billion on AI-driven CapEx. And now over the weekend, we have a story that raises questions. Do they need to spend $60 billion? Or can they get a lot more for that $60 billion than they anticipated? So they'll be up Wednesday night, and I think that'll be a real litmus test of what smart players who've had a couple of days to really dig into what DeepSeek has announced, what they have to say. And, in my mind, the setup is very positive for those guys who are leveraging AI to develop capabilities, but don't need to make money from selling kind of AI-driven large language models. And Meta is in that camp. I mean, Llama is an open source LLM. Apple's in that camp. They're leveraging other people's AI investments and would benefit, frankly, from a lighter weight model with greater functionality and end devices. And Amazon as well. They haven't really developed their own LLM, but they would benefit, I think, from improving capabilities generally. So this could be an important kind of test of the substance of what we've been talking about this morning on DeepSeek.
Can you envision Zuckerberg doing a 180 or trimming CapEx just 72 hours after the last numbers?
No, but I could envision some discussion of the substance of what DeepSeek has announced. And, if there's any statement that suggests it's substantive, then we could start to think, well, do they need to spend as much as he put out, or can they get a lot more than they bargained for from that spend?
One of the key topics we've been talking about this morning is the open source nature of DeepSeek. And of course, Llama has similar attributes. Is there anything they need to do that can help them kind of be, benefit from the open source nature in the way that DeepSeek is doing in China?
Well, look, I think that the first thing, some of the press reports have suggested that Meta is doing is, assigning teams immediately to try and reverse engineer what DeepSeek has done, see what they can learn. You'd expect that, from a company with this type of resource. So the fact that it's open source suggests that not only will Meta people be doing this analysis, but the open source community will be. And frankly, DeepSeek and Llama both being open source, they can learn from each other. So, this sets up for the end game of services and capabilities improving faster. If DeepSeek is real, the innovations will spread rapidly to scaled players like Meta, and AI will be more impactful.
Apple is up, as we mentioned. That's a rarity, at least so far this year, Barton, given a lot of concern, I guess, overall in terms of the demand and shipments and the like. Are they a beneficiary at all of what's going on right now? And what is your sense in terms of how we set up heading into the earnings release there as well?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, if this is real, potentially, you'd think that Apple would be able to learn what the innovation is and improve the capabilities of their models that they're putting on their end devices. So greater compute for the end device should help the feature set that Apple's able to introduce. That's obviously a very long-term idea. Near term, they have to navigate the pressures that seem to be apparent in the December quarter kind of iPhone sales backdrop. The good news is that a lot of that has been digested by the market. And then I think what is to come is even more important, which is their ability to rejuvenate iPhone sales as you launch a new model in the March quarter in SE4, and as you ramp up those AI capabilities that you already have under development, starting with the iOS 18.4 in April, which will give you exposure in Europe, will improve Siri, and give you Chinese language support. So a lot of important, markers to come that should help the appeal of iPhones.